All right, guys. So today I'm interviewing Bud Maynard, and I'm really, really excited to have you, Bud. This has been in the works for months and months and months because I know we've rescheduled a lot, but we're finally
Yeah.
here. So Bud, you were in the program, and I'm just happy to have you here so we can, talk about kind of your experience and some of the things that went on and your results, basically, and what happened. So.
Yeah.
Do you want to chat a little bit about, kind of your background and introduce yourself a bit?
Yeah. So I'm Bud Maynard. I had a background in manufacturing management for 10 years when I joined the program. So I was a manufacturing and production manager for a while. So
So, gotcha. Okay, awesome. So yeah, I remember you came in straight from that, and then you moved straight into this. And there's a really cool factor that we'll bring up later, I guess, in the middle of this. But so that's what you were doing before the program. Any recruiting or staffing experience at all, like in that position or previously?
yeah, in the position, I did do recruiting and I did staffing for my own company that I was working for.
Okay.
Because I was a manager, I had to hire and I had to fire, I had to interview and all that stuff.
Like
Um,
internally.
yes, just internally, not professionally for any other company.
Gotcha. Okay. And then, okay, so you had that experience, but then you wanted to move on out and kind of see what it looked like being a recruiter, kind of on your own, I guess.
Yeah, I had that experience, but before I saw your videos on YouTube, I didn't realize that I had the skills to actually start a recruiting business. Even though I was doing it for like 10 years, it didn't click to me that, hey, these skills can be used outside of manufacturing or outside of the workplace and I can start my own business.
So that's a really, really good point that you bring up because what I always say is people undervalue themselves by like 50%. And that sort of reflects that concept in that people don't understand what kind of skills they actually have
Right.
and how they can put them to use. And it's all about how you put them to use.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think a lot of that's involved in the program, but how do you use these tools I already have?
Right.
Um, for great benefits. So, all right, so let's get to it. Kind of like once you got into the program, how many contracts or placements, let's say, since joining the program, have you been able to land contracts, deals, whatever?
When I first started the program, it took me about 2 months to get my first client.
Okay.
There's some reasons for that. I
Mhm.
was kind of new face on the block in the business,
Mhm.
and I was already well known, as a manufacturing manager. People were like, okay, what are you doing? So once I got my first client, the ball just started rolling from there. And right now, since I've joined your program, right now I have placed, to be honest, Ben, I can't even really count how many people and how many positions I've placed. I know that it's well over 100.
I
So
love it. That's
yeah.
amazing, incredible. I know that you've done well. I didn't know that you couldn't remember the amount. That's amazing. Um,
Yeah. I mean, like I would have to go back, look at the files, look on my computer, and actually count them.
sure,
To
that's
be
awesome.
honest, but it's definitely well over 100 placements,
Yeah,
and it's about 25, around 25 clients. So
clients. Okay,
yeah,
and those clients are some of them volume, giving you like 5, 10 roles, right?
yeah. A lot of them start out with, hey, we're gonna give you this one role and see how you do. But it's as soon as I prove, that I'm good on that, they just continuously they just send me emails. They don't even call me no more.
Yeah,
They just send me an
right.
email and I send them people and they send me money. So,
Yep, it's
so
right. It's just a feedback loop, guys.
that's all it is. Yeah.
Yep, there's a little more to it, but once you get in there, it's just that feedback. It's that repeat and referral business.
Right.
So, everybody watching this is going to want to know, hey, bud, how much money did you make after you joined Ben's program? So can you give us a talk on maybe revenue generated since you joined the program, since with all these placements and stuff? What does that look like for you?
Yeah. So since I've joined the program, all the way till today, I have made over $300,000
Perfect.
in
I love it.
revenue. So, and on marketing and sourcing and things of that nature, I've probably spent maybe 25,000.
80-20. I mean, that's
So,
very close. I love
yeah.
it. That's perfect. 300,000 revenue. Amazing. I love it. Which has also led me to a point I wanted to bring up. You were able to, at that point, exit stage left from your 9-to-5 job and go full-time, full bore recruitment.
Yeah. So right now, so when I first started the program and I got my first couple of clients, once I realized that these clients were sending me repetitive jobs, I was like, you know what? So I quit my job. And now I do some consulting, but I only do that because I want to.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't have to. Recruiting, it has really given me the freedom to work from anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
In the nation. I don't leave the nation. So, but yeah, and I do some consulting for some, production companies, but I only do that because I want to.
Sure. So giving you that freedom, that's a huge piece. I love that. And I love the fact that you were a 9-to-5er doing your thing and you were able to leave because of the fact that you were able to generate this revenue now. I mean, you matched your income, exceeded your income, and then it just made sense for you to just exit, right? Because I know for a fact that there's a ton of people watching this that are currently working 9-to-5 jobs.
Mhm.
And maybe you could talk a little bit. I think this would be kind of an important piece. What did that transition look like? I mean, you were a 9-to-5 worker working a position, a great job, in lean manufacturing. I mean, you knew your stuff and you were working there. And then this came about and you left. What did that look like for you? I mean, that transition out, was it
Right.
easy, hard? Was it a simple choice, or was it just because the revenue just made sense? Or
Well, going back to the reason why I wanted to get out of that loop, you say 9-to-5, and respectfully, that's what most people work. But I was salary, and I was working anywhere from 60 to 70 hours a week and getting paid for 40 hours.
yeah,
Okay. So, I have 3 kids, I have a wife, and they didn't recognize me, at the end of the work week. So I'm like,
right,
something has to change.
yeah,
Luckily, like you mentioned, I had a great career, so I was able to save up a lot of money.
mm-hmm.
But what I did for me, and this doesn't mean that anyone else has to do this, but for me, this was the path, is I put myself in a situation to where I either had to do or die. When I got in your when I got in your program and I realized that this was going to work, and I realized that, I can easily get clients from what I've done before, from taking my knowledge from what I've done before, it really helped with the client acquisition. And then your methods of combining your methods of client acquisition really helped. Once I realized that, I quit my job. And then it was a do or die situation.
Mm-hmm.
It was, I have to make this work or I'm going to go downhill really quick.
Right.
So I put all that energy kind of like fighting for survival. And
right.
I made sure that every day, I put 16 hours in every day.
Yeah.
Into recruiting. And
right.
I didn't let up until I got to that number to where I needed to be.
So you burned the boats behind you, and you went all in, and you made it happen. I mean, that's the truth of it right there. So
for me, I really had to do that because, I was comfortable before.
Mm-hmm.
So there was nothing really forcing me besides spending more time with my family and having the freedom to do what I want to do. There was really nothing else forcing me to be successful in recruiting.
Mm-hmm.
So like you said, I had to burn everything behind me. I had to give up a 10-year-long career.
Yeah.
And now put myself in the situation of, you have to do this or you have to start at another company from the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And that wasn't going to happen.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I love that because that's so telling to so many people that are going to see this. Because, we're talking about, there's probably 85% of people that are going to watch this that are working, a corporate job, whatever the hours may be. And maybe they're a recruiter at an agency or corporate recruiter, and they're looking to go solo and looking to do what you did. And the way you laid that out, I mean, like you said, there was nothing more important than your freedom and your family, and nothing was get in the way of that. And so you made it happen. So, that transition is, I mean, it's beautiful. It's perfect. So I love it. I'm super, super happy for you in the way that worked.
Thank you.
So let's say, without, going into too much detail, of course, what would you say is like the most important piece of the program that really helped you succeed and just propelled you to that 300K, mark, at least for now? I know it's going higher.
So I took a lot away from your program. What I didn't know is I only knew how recruiting went on the managerial side of the desk. Your program showed me how the business was run from the recruiting side of the desk. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that I had to learn, contracts and guarantees and, pricing and things of that nature. But what really helped me with your program is all the automation that you teach when it comes to client acquisition. The LinkedIn automation, the octopus, all that stuff, all the emails, all the stuff that you gave us, right from the start, gave me a huge head start. If I had to come up with all that myself, I would have been probably behind the ball for quite a bit before I would have been able to actually be successful.
Right. The learning curve would have been, it could be years for people instead of flattening it out into weeks, or a couple months, 2 months, and, having them, like I interviewed a handful of people, right? Their first clients, and, I know yours was in just about 2 months, but that's how it happens. It's a month in, 2 months in, it's wherever it is, but when it rains, it pours, right?
It does.
And then you are where you are at the end and stuff. So to wrap it up, and put a bow on it, what would you tell anybody that's looking into the program or looking into recruiting or looking into this business, on the fence about any of this stuff? What would be your, kind of advice to that person?
This business is ran, from my perspective, this business is ran on totally your effort. If you have a high output every single day and you put your nose to the grindstone, this business is going to work for you. Now, the money's nice, but in my opinion, you also have to like people. If you don't like talking with people, and if you don't like making, forming relationships and maturing those relationships over time, eventually, I don't think this business would be a good idea for you. But if you like people and you like talking to people and you're a personable person, and you want to do good for yourself, this business is where it's at, because there is tons of competition, but there's tons of jobs and there's tons of people looking for good jobs. So,
right. We're in the hottest recruiting market we've ever seen. And there's an abundance of opportunity out there. So I like the way you put that. I mean, you've got to like what you're doing. The money will always follow. You know what I mean?
Right.
The money will always follow. If you're doing what you are doing and liking it, you're going to do it well. And with that being said, the money always follows that. So
yeah, money is very important, but the more value you add, like you said, Ben, the money's always, money follows value. There's no value, no money.
Exactly.
The more value you add to your clients, the more easier and more robust you make it for your clients to hire people. They're always going to pay you your money. Now, there are some clients that, you're going to have to argue with a little bit to get your money.
Right.
But the good ones out there, they'll always pay you as long as you show massive value.
Exactly. Yep. And you have, right. You're one of those guys that, you've come in and you show massive value, and you're doing the consulting on the side because you want to, because you've got the freedom now. So, you've earned the right to do whatever the hell you want, basically.
Pretty much.
You know what I mean? So, I love it. I'm a huge fan, and I'm really pumped up for your story, and really just excited for the fact that you were able to leave the job, get to where you want to be, gain that freedom, and be where you're at now, and scale, because there's nowhere
Yeah.
to go from here but up, right? So,
Yeah. Yes. Scaling is the big part. If you can,
mhm.
if you can scale and you can source out things to other people, that's where you really start to feel the comfortableness of, well, comfortableness ain't a word. You really start to feel comfortable in your position, and now
Mhm.
you're just managing the process and you're making a difference while doing it. So
Right, 100%. 100%. I love it, bud. So I appreciate you coming on and just let me ask you a few questions about this. And I'm sure a lot of people will take a lot of value out of watching this.
good.
And hopefully, like I tell everyone, as soon as you hit that 7-figure mark, let's have another interview and chat about that phase and how that
Yeah.
went.
Yeah.
Right?
With what I'm planning, I'm not going to say it because
Uh,
it's still in the works, but with what I'm planning and how things are looking, I'm 2 years out from that millie.
there we go.
So,
I love it.
yeah.
Perfect. I'll schedule the day for the interview then.
All right, man.
All
Two
right.
2 years from now.
Perfect. Perfect. All right, bud. Great chatting with you. And we will chat again for sure.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much.